Shalom everyone. I received a comment on my last video that I did, which I actually agree with, and I wanted to read to you guys and briefly discuss. It is something that I've discussed before. However, I do want to read another scripture, which I haven't actually brought up before, which we all know. However, many disregard, unfortunately. It has to do with submission, of course, and you will know it by the title of this video. And I guess I want to do this because also many women keep saying that, I will only submit if my husband does this and this, or if he treats me a certain way, um, and things of that nature. And so I do want to read the comment and then read the scripture before, I guess, talking more about it. So the comment that I received says, the modern day woman, Western woman, find it insulting and nonsense to submit to their husband. They have a preconceived understanding of what they think submit means. It is not biblical. These people are in war with their flesh and the powers and principalities of this world. Some are slotted for the pit. Pride comes before destruction. So that was the, excuse me, that was the comment altogether. And, I have spoken about submission, as I said before, and it is quite unfortunate that even believing women have an issue with submission to their husband. Whether unfortunately their husband might be, abusive, and it's unfortunate that you're in that position, and I do apologize for that. But most women, most believing women, sort of make it as if their husbands are not following Yeshua, their husbands are not leading. And they say, well, once, men decide to lead and men decide to follow Yeshua and men decide to, believe on Yahweh, or they become better people, then I will submit. Or if, like I said, they do this and this, then I will submit and obey them. And, there are also husbands out there who are not believers and, however, still, allow, for a lack of a better word, their wives to observe the Torah and, you know, observe their faith. And still, because, the husband isn't a believer, they think, well, why should I submit and listen and obey, and follow my husband? Because, he isn't a believer. And so there is scripture that came into my mind actually yesterday while I was reading the comment, and it is something that we all know, however, unfortunately, kind of ignore and disregard because of our own feelings, because of, the way we think we are treated by the husband. And so I just want to go straight into it and read it, and then just, quickly and briefly speak about it. So the scripture is 1 Peter 3, verses 1 and 2, and it says, in the same way, wives, be subject to your own husbands, so that if any are disobedient to the word, they, without a word, might be won by the behavior of their wives, having seen your blameless behavior in fear. So I think that, everything is beautiful in scripture, but I think that is really wonderful, and that kind of should put wives in their place regarding submission, whether the husband is a believer or not. And of course, we have believing women whose husbands are believers and, leaders and, have that fear of Yahweh, and still their wives are like, nope, I still want to do my own thing, and not listen to my husband and not submit. And so here in scripture, we also see that, even if your husband is disobedient to the word, unfortunately, you still need to be obedient and submit so that he might be won by your behavior. And so you need to be loving and kind and really have the characteristics of Yeshua, and be holy as he is holy. and, show your husband who isn't a believer or who is treating you a certain way that, Yahweh can actually work on him and all things are possible with Yahweh. And you need to be patient and kind and, submit. And I think we, as believing women in general, need to have that respect for our husband and his authority and not become, unfortunately, feminists or anything of the like, to the point where we do become like the world, like the women of the world, where we just, want to be narcissistic, whether we just want to be of the world, we want to do our own thing, take, matters into our own hands. We need to be, Proverbs 31 women, not Proverbs 5. And so, yeah, I think we need to respect our husbands more and his leadership, focus more on his strengths rather than his weaknesses, because at the end of the day, no matter, how, he treats you or doesn't, or whether he's a believer or non-believer, we need to understand that they are human just as us. No one is perfect. They will make mistakes. They will hurt you just like, you might be hurting them in some sense. And to really know that even if he does hurt you or makes a bad decision, instead of yelling, arguing, causing a fight, acting non-biblical, we actually need to go to the extent where we perhaps, go on your own for a while, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, reflect, speak to Yahweh, pray, and trust that Yahweh actually will work it out for the best, instead of, taking it out, um, or rather, just controlling the situation and making it worse. And, don't really speak poorly of your husband to anyone, whether it be friends or family, because at the end of the day, most likely you will work it out, whatever the situation may be. And that's another way to actually respect him and give him that reverence, as a husband and as a leader and a follower of Yeshua. And you should never speak badly about your husband. You should never treat him or disrespect him in any way, because whether, as I said, he's a believer or not, and if he is an unbeliever, you acting like the world, you acting like a feminist, or a narcissist, sorry to say, isn't really going to help him come to Yahweh. Like I said, all things are possible with Yahweh, and, he can work miracles and anything is possible. But, your behavior, the way you act, the way you speak, speaks volumes and can speak volumes to your unbelieving husband. So I do believe it's crucial to follow scripture, follow what 1 Peter 3 says, and not give in to, feeling unwell, and not give in to your own desires of what you want and what you think is right, because we need to take scripture quite seriously, regarding all aspects, but of course mission and modesty and the way we actually treat our husbands. And so I sort of just wanted to touch up on that. And yeah, I think, the Bible is very clear, even with the scripture that I just read, 1 Peter 3 verses 1 and 2. And so many women might say, yes, that's really nice. I read this so many times. But my husband is, this and this, or he does this and this, or he acts, this and this way. But at the end of the day, we have a role to play. We are responsible with, or how we act or react. And, not crying, just my eyes are watery. And we are responsible with the way, like I said, we act and choose to act.